What's going on, everybody? Today, I'm just going to be pretty much making a filler video because I have a lot in the works right now. Next week should be a really good, exciting video, and if you want to see more of a sneak peek, you can go to my Instagram right here. If you want to check that out, feel free, but today I'm just going to be pretty much telling you a really good story I had from when I went to go find my G37. Also, there is going to be swearing in this video. I usually try and cut most of it out of the rest of the other videos, but there will be some in this video more for context than anything, so just forewarning for anyone that doesn't like it. So, looking for my G37 did take a while. As I said when I first bought it, it took me a couple months to look for the right one. And when I finally got to the stage of looking for people to go check out the car, I was talking to some guy on Kijiji. He seemed like a really cool guy. I was talking to him. He sounded like he knew a lot about his car. It sounded like he took care of it, like he cared for it. And it was a really promising start to go look at a car. So, I set a meeting time, went and checked him out, and thought it was all going to be good. First red flag, I should have realized when he told me to meet him at a crossroad instead of like a driveway or a parking lot, it was going to be a little sketchy, but I said screw it, I went anyway, and decided to go check out the car. So I met the guy at the cross section, me and my two friends that you met in the photography video I made a little bit back. We all went to go check out the car, and we got to the meeting spot, and he wasn't answering. So we were getting a little confused. We texted him, we called him. He eventually answered and said, yeah, I'll be there in 10 minutes. We're like, okay. Waited out the 10 minutes. We're all sitting there, and we hear music blaring. So we look up. Coming down the street is the red G37 that I was looking at. Blaring music. That thing was cranked to max. Blaring music, so we start getting out of the car. We see him pulling up at Mach speed, and he slams on the brakes. Skids up to us, looks at us, and goes, hope you guys brought condoms. So, I was a little shook up already. I was pretty confused what was going to happen, but I was excited for the adventure, so I was all in it. He pulled the car around, so he pulls around, pulls up next to the curb, pulls the e-brake, throws in park, turns the car off, gets out, and he's wearing cargo shorts, a basketball jersey, some real sporty Pit Viper looking glasses, and I knew it was gonna be one of those type of deals. I knew what I was dealing with immediately, and honestly, I didn't know what to think at that point, but whatever. So we start taking a look around the car. I start doing the walk around, see if there's any body damage, anything like that, and he's going off about how he was just finishing up at a party, blah, blah, blah. He's going around the car. I kept seeing these white spots everywhere, and he just kept immediately being like, it's just wax. He'd walk around and just wax everywhere, rub the jersey on it. It's just wax. See, it comes off a little bit of polish, wipes off, comes just wax. I'm like, okay, whatever, it's just wax, clearly. Everyone's like, my buddies are laughing behind me. They knew what's going on. He's wiping it off. Wax isn't actually coming off with his jersey, but he's like, no, don't worry, trust me, it'll come off with just a little hand buffer. I'm like, okay, whatever you say, buddy. So, I then ask him to pop the hood, and he goes, no, I want to show you the trunk first. I'm like, oh, what? I'm like, what do you mean? I just want to see it, I want to see what's under the hood first. He's like, no, I got it all planned out. So I'm like, okay, well, whatever. So we walk to the back, pops the trunk, and it's all the extra parts and stuff like that, nothing big. Walks to the front, finally pops the engine bay. I'm looking, I'm like, wow, that's pretty nice. I went to go check the heat shielding around the cold air intake just to see if it's real or if it's like cardboard or plastic or something like that. Went to touch, he's like, don't touch my car. I'm like, okay. Like, this is getting real sketchy already, but whatever. I'm just going to kind of roll with it. So I asked him to test drive the car, and he goes, yeah, for sure, hop in. And then races me to the driver's seat and gets in. So I'm like, wait, I'm going to be sitting passenger on my own test drive? Okay, let's see. So I went and go sit down. I'm like, well, like, this is kind of weird, but I'll figure it all out. He's showing me how to work the car. I already knew how to work the car, but I kind of played along for his presentation's sake. But we finally start driving. It's going pretty nicely. I was like, okay, like, if it's nice. He said we're gonna go for an easy drive. I'm like, that's perfect. That's all I need from this guy, is just to see how the car drives. Turn the first corner, and he mats the throttle. So I get pushed back in my seat. He's like, don't worry, this thing's powerful, man. We're flying. I'm pushed back into the seat. I was watching the speedometer, and in Canada, our subdivisions are about 50 kilometers an hour. I'm watching it. I see 130, 140, and it went out of my view. So I'm like, uh-oh, we're going to die. Here we go. Flying through the curvy subdivision, passing all the cars. I'm like, oh, shit, like, we're going to die. Okay. Comes up to the stop sign and mats, or like bottoms out the brakes. So we slid to a stop. I'm absolutely over myself. Like I thought I was gonna die. I'm holding the handle like my life depended on it. We're at the stop sign. He goes, yeah, so it's got some power, and then mats it again. I'm like, oh shit, here we go. So I'm pushed back in the seat. We're driving. We're having a grand old time, and we start coming up to a curve, a little bend in the road, and I see a car oncoming. He decides to lean over the center console, look at me, and go, do you know how much pussy you're gonna get in this thing? I'm like, oh my god, look forward. There's a car coming. Please help me. Uh-oh, we're gonna crash. Car starts to come. He's talking to me like over the console like this, like making direct eye contact with me talking. You know how much pussy you're gonna get in this thing? This thing? We go out all the time looking out for girls. Blah, blah, blah. Looks forward, finally sees the car. Last second, swerves it, almost hits the curb, pulls it back. And we're all just like, what the hell is going on? So we pull it up to the stop sign, finally, onto the main, or near a main road. Pulls up to the main road and he goes, probably shouldn't be doing this. I'm like, why? He goes, well, this thing doesn't have any insurance. And it peels onto the main road. And I'm like, okay, let's just add another thing to the mix already. He's probably on something. He's almost crashed. He's a horrible driver. And now if there's no insurance, I'm like, okay, well, today's the day I get arrested. I'm like, this is going to be fun for sure. So finally, the main road was okay. And we start pulling back to near my friends were. We're pulling up to the side of the curb. I'm starting to freak out. They're looking at me through the windshield, and I'm like white as a ghost. I thought I was gonna die 100%. I'm laying there. We pull up. Finally gets out of the car. I get out of the car. We look back and we see the car's rolling. So he runs, jumps in the car, pulls the e-brake. He forgot to do that the first time. I'm like, okay, well this guy's an idiot. So comes around, immediately pulls out a joint. I'm like, of course this guy's high. Of course he's on something else. And then he went, yeah, so actually I was a little bit late, sorry, because I was at a party and I just wanted to finish my drink. So I'm like, okay, here we go. He's been drinking. He's high. I'm like, this is the most dangerous I've ever been in my life. I'm like, this has been fun. So at this point, I wanted to already say goodbye. I told the guy, I'm like, hey, thank you for showing me the car, blah, blah, blah. I will let you know what I think about it. I'll send you a text. I just got to figure some stuff out. I tried to walk away. And he goes, no, there's some more things I want to show you. Like, don't go yet. Like, it's all good. There's more to the car that you didn't get to see. Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh my god. I don't want to stay any longer than I have to. I already know what my decision is with the car. If he's been driving it like this, I know there's more problems than what he's telling me. So, finally, he starts talking and talking. And then again, after about 20-30 minutes, I tell him again, like, hey, I'm ready to go. Thanks for your time. Blah, blah, blah. And my friends are seeing that I'm having a great time with this guy and go, yeah, so what's the max speed you've gotten in? And then the guy starts going off. He's like, well, I raced a Tesla once. He's like, I smoked it. I was on the highway saving gas with some girls in my car, saving gas. I had it in third gear on the highway going about 110, 120. And then we're like, wait, you had it in third gear to save gas? Okay, let's see how this goes. So I got it in third gear, driving. Tesla starts pulling by me. I wanted to see how fast that thing was. I've always heard of it, but I wanted to see how fast it really was. So he's like, so I dropped it from 6th to 3rd to catch up. Started pulling on the Tesla. So he like threw into 4th. We're like, wait, you went from 6th to 3rd to 4th. I'm like, wait, how did you do this? We're all messed up. But he's like, I passed the Tesla, threw it into 4th, and then to 5th, and then to 3rd. We're like, whoa, this dude's Vin Diesel. This dude's in the Fast and Furious. He's an unlimited amount of gears. So he finally gets to, he's like, yeah, I smoked the Tesla. It had nothing on this car. This car's a beast. This car and I pick up so much pussy. This is my boy right here. This isn't a chick. Me and my boy roll around looking for pussy, my guy. I'm like, oh my god. Like, this is really the guy I'm dealing with. Okay. Finally, again, I'm like, thank you for your time. I will see you guys after. We're probably about an hour after the test drive. I'm like, I'll let you know what I feel about the car. I'll shoot you a text, yada, yada, yada. And thankfully, he finally let us go. After us sneaking away slowly and slowly, I finally jumped in the car, said goodbye, and we took off in my buddy's van. At that point, I was freaking out. I was starting to like panic. I'm like, oh my god, I almost just died. My friends are laughing their asses off because they just made me in the most uncomfortable situation of my life. But pretty much, be careful who you go to drive cars from. Careful where you go to test your cars and check your cars out, because they might not even let you drive the car. But that's pretty much it for this story. I know it didn't end as exciting as it was in the middle when he almost crashed us and went 170 through a subdivision, but that's it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching it. If you liked it, please leave a like. It really helps me and the channel out a lot. If you want to see more of my content, please subscribe. Again, it helps me out a lot. And that's it for today. So see you guys in the next video. Peace.